Hi, second grade. My name is Miss Emolyn Liden, and I'm a teaching artist in the PACE art program, where we join classroom curriculum with the arts. You may be joining this class from your classroom with your teachers and your classmates, or you may be joining us from home. I'm so glad you are here to learn with me today. And don't forget, you can pause the video at any time. If you have any questions, if you are curious about a topic that we talk about today, or if you need help with something in our art project, you can always raise your hand and ask your teacher or ask your parent for some help. In your social studies class today, we are going to learn more about our community and its heritage. You've been learning about key historical events that helped shape our lives, as well as historical symbols and their significance. What I'm going to show you today is something that people have been doing for hundreds of years, right here in this region where you live. It is not a symbol or an event, but an artisan craft that has developed over time by people teaching one another how to do this skill. It has developed from a plant that grew in this environment, and with that skill has developed a trade or a skill set to create things for us to use. And I'm going to be showing you parts of the plant and how to pick the fiber out of the plant and how to card the fiber, then how to spin it and make yarn, and then what can we make with the yarn? We're going to discuss that as well. I'm so glad you're here to join me today. Let's jump in. The plant we're going to be discovering today is the cotton plant and the Acadian brown cotton fiber. It grows right here in Louisiana, and you may have seen white cotton before. We've used it in art projects because it is fluffy like a cloud, and we can put it on the tail of a bunny rabbit if we're making a piece of art that has a bunny rabbit. And what if you got a prick on your finger? You can clean it with a little tuft of cotton. We already know there are so many uses for cotton. If you find the label on the back of your shirt, it might say that it is made from 100% cotton. But did you know cotton can grow in different colors? We see a lot of white cotton. You might have seen beside the road a whole field of white and asked your parent, "Mom and Dad, is that snow?" But how could it be snow? Because it's not cold enough for snow. The tufts of fiber on the top of those plants, yes, they can look like snow, but they are actually the cotton fiber that blooms out of the plant. So we've seen white cotton, but we can also get cotton in light brown, dark brown, and even green, a light green or a pale yellow, all kinds of different colors, which is really cool if you think about it. When people saw this plant, they first noticed how it bloomed these bright pink flowers. I hope you take the time to notice things that are blooming in your backyard, because this flower blossom in our environment started to impact our culture, because it changed from a flower blossom into a little tuft of cotton. And they saw this fiber and they said, "Wow, that is amazing. It's like a ball, or what we call a bowl of cotton, right there in the plant." They picked the fuzzy part of the plant and discovered that if they twisted the fibers together, it would get stronger. Now, why was that important? We have fresh cotton right here, and if I pull this apart, it is not very strong. It will pull apart. Now, we can use something like this to stuff inside things. They used to stuff mattresses and pillows, and maybe even your teddy bear that you would play with at home. But if they twisted the fiber, it could become strong. And why was this important? Because with that strength created yarn. Look, I can pull it now and it's not going to break apart. And that yarn could be woven into fabric, or it could be knitted into hats and mittens to keep you warm. So you see the hat behind me, it kind of looks like bunny rabbits, right? But it would not have been possible to make a hat like that out of this fuzzy cotton. It had to first be spun, and then once it was turned into yarn, it could be knitted into a hat, or it could be woven into a blanket. Now this is really small, it's like for a Barbie, but imagine if this covered your whole bed. And this came from this plant. I'm going to show you how to make yarn today on the spinning wheel. I brought one with me. Let's check it out. After they picked the cotton, it would be really fluffy like this. And they would have to turn it into something to spin. They would use hand cards, and they would take this fluffy part of cotton and they would roll it together, and they would card it together and make rolls that you could put into the spinning wheel. So they would brush it onto their cards, and they would take these two cards that have a lot of little pieces of brushes, see that? And they would brush them apart from each other. You can hear the noise of the brushes, can't you? And they would roll it from one side to the other, brushing it away from the card, brushing it again, and going back the other way until the cotton could be all smoothed out. And you can roll it together. Ready? We're going to roll this into one roll. See? And now we can spin it. And that's how you make yarn. Isn't that cool? From plant to yarn to cloth or to hat. We're going to use the cotton plant as our inspiration to make our art project today. Our project is going to be a festive wreath using paper, and what you will need is a piece of brown paper, if you can match the color of this cotton plant, a piece of green paper, because it's more fun to have two colors than one. Green is going to be the leaves and the stem, and a piece of white paper. We're going to cut that piece of paper into a circle. So if you also have a paper plate that you can glue this construction paper onto, that will work as a circle as well, because we're going to make a wreath that we can hang on the door or our wall or our window or give as a gift. Gather those supplies along with scissors and glue. Great job. I will meet you at the art table. All right, second grade, we have our glue stick, we have a pair of scissors, we have our inspiration, which is the cotton plant, and we have something to draw with, and if you want to see the marker, or you can use your pencil and always erase. We have different colors of brown. Brown cotton does come in different colors, a dark, a lighter, and a medium brown, and then we have some green for the leaves. The first thing to do is to make a circle with your white piece of paper. The easiest way to do that is to fold the paper in half, take the corners, match the corners, and fold it in half. and do the best you can to draw a circle on the page. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a circular shape, right? Our curved shape. Then take the scissors with your comfortable hand, pick up the piece of paper, and we're going to practice working along that circular edge by turning the paper and turning the scissors at the same time, and cut the circle with the pair of scissors. It's like a half moon. We're cutting both pieces of paper at the same time. Can you do that? The front and the back of the fold, both pieces of paper, so that when we open up our circle, our half moon, that is, when we open it up, we have a circular shape. It might not be perfect, but let's see what we have. A circular shape. Beautiful. We are going to cut the inside of this circle out the same way we cut the outside. So fold your circle again, and we're going to make a smaller moon. One more moon shape. A smaller moon this time. Doesn't have to be really small, and it doesn't have to be really big. We want enough space to work with. So, if you need a parent or teacher to help you, put a little dash mark almost halfway between the center and the edge. So we're on the side here and on the side there, not in the very center, not at the very tip. And we're going to use those two dashes to guide us to make another moon shape. Great. Once again, it does not have to be perfect. Pick up your scissors in the hand that is comfortable to cut with, and this time it might be more of a challenge because we have to go in this small shape, and we cut in along the line. Now this whole piece is going to come out. It is going to fall out because we're going from one little mark to the next. Let this little circle go and open up our wreath. Great job. Okay, let's make our cotton bowls, which is the fuzzy part of the cotton. This is sculptural, meaning we can touch it, we can turn it, and we can see different sides. Choose one of your brown pieces of paper, and we're going to cut one long strip. So you make your workspace on your table, and once again, we can cut using a guide. We can use the side of our old paper and draw a guide of our line. Draw down the piece of paper. And you can also use a ruler for this. A ruler works really well if you happen to have a ruler on your desk. See how I went off because it's not tall like a ruler. And we have a nice rectangle on the side of the page. Now I happen to cut with my right hand, so I'm going to turn my page around and I'm going to cut a rectangle. We want a bunch of different rectangular strips, and you can use all of the colors of brown that you have. I'm going to show you how we're going to make this circular cotton ball, and then we're going to work on making a bunch of them, okay? You might ask yourself, I don't know how to make something flat rise above the page and become sculptural. Right now it is just laying flat. You get to take your pencil and wrap your paper around your pencil. It doesn't have to be tight, but you do want it to connect on the other side, and wrap. And we're going to wrap all the way up, and this one strip of paper might be good enough for 2 cotton balls. We'll see. And let it come undone. And we have a nice, what shape is that? Spiral. Good. You could probably see it better if it's against white. Spiral shape. Nice. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this and cut it in half because it's got a lot of length. And we're going to glue down our cotton balls. Let's make 4 more strips. Ready? And cut those out. Remember, I like to cut with my right hand, so I turn them around, cut them out. Let's cut some more of the other color. Do you have another color of brown? Let's do 2 of these. Do 1 or 2 of the light brown. If you have a friend with you who has a different color brown, maybe you can do some of yours, they can do some of theirs, and then you can trade, and that way you get more than 1 color brown. You can also use a light blue, a light green, or a light gray. If you don't have brown, that would work too. The wreath is going to look more fun if you have a lot of cotton balls on there. So we need a lot of paper strips. We've got 3 colors of brown. Let's cut them all in half. You can draw a line across each one, or if you're starting to feel more confident, more sure of yourself, just pick up the piece of paper and cut it in half. Here's one without a line. Cut it in half wherever you can. The next step, you're going to need your pencil. Because we're going to start spiraling our paper. Ready? Take your pencil, put it at the edge, and spiral it around. And then just slide it off and put it to the side. We're going to play with that later. Spiral and put it to the side. We're going to make a little pile of our spirals. So spiral up as many as you have time for. If you have to stop this class in a little bit, you might only get 6. If you have time, or if you remember how to do this and want to add some later, that's great too. Spiral, 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 so we can get our sculptured paper, not flat paper. Our pencil is helping this paper bounce up to life. And it doesn't have to go straight up. If it curves to the left or the right and goes off to the side, that's okay too. When you get done spiraling, if you have finished before me, it's start pulling your paper out just a little and make these spirals a little bit bigger. You do that by just encouraging the circle to come back out. See that? So you just pull it just a little to come back out. All right, for those of you who need more time, keep on spiraling your cotton ball. For those of you who are working fast today, encourage your spirals to come back out and be a little bit bigger. Next step, we're going to glue the leaves to the wreath. So you'll need to identify, where's my glue stick? Where did I put my glue stick? Okay, encourage them to come out like this. Now remember, we're using this as inspiration. So it's not going to look exactly the same because we're using paper, but it'll look pretty fun when we assemble them on the wreath. Okay, here is where we're going to add our cotton all the way around the wreath. And then we're going to practice our leaf shapes. Remember how we drew our leaves in another class where you start with a point and a curve, and then another where you go back to the top and you curve it the other way. Practice a lot of these shapes. Point and curve, connect and curve. So it's like a teardrop, but it's not going to have a point just on one side. It has a point on both sides. Good. Practice your leaf shapes. Nice and big. And the fun thing about this is we are going to use the shape to glue to our wreath, and we're also going to use the back of the shape, the background of the shape that we don't think we're going to need, but it is going to come out looking like more leaves. So I want you to save all of the green paper, okay? And cut some leaves. Even if you cut it away, save it. It's like a thought of a leaf. Almost the shape, but not quite. If you want to make a pile of your leaves, you can do that. And a pile of what is not a leaf, you can cut it like that. And if you need to cut it to get to your shape, that is okay. Guide your scissors to the point and guide your scissors around. Does not have to be perfect. These are just curved shapes. Remember how we learned curved and straight? So we can call these our leaf scraps, go down below, and our leaves go up above. Can you do that with me? Leaf shapes down below, and our leaves up above. Okay, does your workspace look something like this? Hope so. Let's arrange our station. So move our inspiration to the side, move our other cotton ball pieces to the side, our Acadian brown cotton. We're going to start with the leaves. Remember how I said keep your leaf scraps? We're going to put these everywhere down on the page. Just choose a little bit of glue and put them on the page. And if you want them to come off the edge, that's okay too, because this is sculptural. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just press them anywhere you want them to go. And we're just making them even around the wreath, meaning spacing them out. So they're not all in one space, they are around the whole wreath. Good. Now here's a fun trick. If you put them down and there were some spots that did not have glue, fold those spots up and this makes it more sculptural. Where was a spot that did not have glue? Fold that side up. Just like that. Great. I'm going to take my cotton and I'm going to glue it down, also scattering it around. See how I just chose glue for the edge of my spiral? Not the whole thing, just the edge, so that when I put it down, it stands up off of the wreath. How cool is that? Okay? So practice gluing everything down. And change color. We're going around the wreath. Change color and change direction too. We don't want it to all look the same. You can play around with folding it a little bit like that to make it change direction. And you can tuck them in to the side of your other cotton ball. See? I glued one piece of cotton to the other. That's a nice little trick too. I want them to go everywhere. You've got a lot. We're filling up the whole wreath. I want them to go all around the whole wreath. Can we do that? Fill it up, fill it up. Keep going. Good job, second grade. Keep gluing. Check and see that every single one fits and is glued. This one is not glued. I'm going to glue it to the side of the leaf so that it can sit flat. Nice. Last part is to glue our extra leaves down. You can glue them to the top of the cotton if you want, or you can make them come off of the wreath if you want. It is up to you. Festive means bringing happiness into your art. I think it looks fun when they're on top. All right, second grade, how did you do? Can you pick up your wreath? Can you move it? Can you look at it from all sides? And most importantly, can you hang it? So you would pick a side and that would go on the wall. Let's see what it looks like on the wall. Hi, second grade. I really hope you loved learning more about something in your community, your heritage, and your culture of Southern Louisiana. And I hope that you enjoyed using the cotton plant to inspire a festive wreath for the season, that you can hang it on your wall, and maybe even give it to somebody you love this time of year. I will see you again soon, and as always, keep making art.